So just weeks after a sniper killed Charlie Kirk, another sniper opens fire at a Dallas ICE facility, killing a detainee and injuring two others. Officials are calling this a target attack, but the alleged shooter, investigators found casings at the scene etched with the word anti-ICE. Let's bring in former Assistant FBI Director Chris Wecker. Chris, thanks so much for joining the program. I want to go big picture, and I don't want to scare the public out there, but I do want to talk about the current threat. You have these snipers. You have the case of Dylan Roof on the roof. You have the assassination of Charlie Kirk, and now you have this situation as well. There's a real threat there. Should people be concerned?
Yeah, usually I say, the chances of the general public being targeted like this, or don't go out of your house type of warning, I don't do that. But in this case, we are starting to see a real threat. And I do security consulting.
That's right.
And my mind goes to parades and events, public events, where there's a lot of people gathered around. In the Charlie Kirk rally, that shooter could have targeted people in the audience and taken out quite a few people, unfortunately. So yes, this is a clear and present danger right now. And any event, I think, at any event that's being planned right now, you got to account for the rooftops and there has to be all kinds of precautions that you wouldn't take ordinarily unless it was something like a presidential visit where you have Secret Service and you would expect to see that kind of security, or the Super Bowl. But now we're in a situation where we've got this viral epidemic of snipers, ideologically motivated, and I think motivated and indoctrinated by very irresponsible people in the public eye, who have nothing else in their game except to go out there and be extreme to get themselves on the media and get attention.
So, Chris, let's talk about that. Because you talk about the radicalization, and typically, like, for example, when we were fighting al-Qaeda, this was online. Sure, you had inspiration videos from overseas, but you didn't have public officials within inside the country that were radicalizing them. You have this time the online aspect of this, right? You got the guys in their basement or on the video games, but you also have public officials making similar radical statements. So how do you combat that?
Yeah, so we worked a terrorism case here in North Carolina when I was the agent in charge, and we filed a RICO case against Hezbollah. And part of the RICO indicia, the evidence of the organization, were these indoctrination videos that they sent out that motivated the Hezbollah members to do all kinds of different things. But it's part and parcel with that indoctrination. And what we need is a material support statute on the domestic side of the house for domestic terrorism. You provide any type of motivation, indoctrination, material support to a domestic terrorist, then that becomes a 10-year felony in federal court.
Chris, let's talk about people continuing their daily life. I don't want to project that people shouldn't continue to do events. So how do you balance the two? You want the First Amendment to continue. You want people to be able to live their lives, go to parades and all of that, but take the threats seriously as well. How do you balance that as a security professional?
Yeah, it's like what happened after 9/11. I mean, we were in this state of heightened security everywhere. We were seeing al-Qaeda, behind every tree. But we didn't tell people not to go out. We just said, be aware. If you see something, say something. If you're around somebody who's being radicalized, who's showing, just kicking off those red flag alarms that you notice because you know this person, then say something to a law enforcement official. I think a lot of people are afraid to stigmatize somebody by reporting something. That's not the case. Law enforcement, the FBI, the agencies can sort through that information. And it only goes somewhere if there's some substance behind it. So again, don't go out. We're not saying don't go out your front door. What we're saying is be hyper aware of your surroundings. Be aware of somebody drops a backpack somewhere. Somebody's dressed a trench coat in the summer. Somebody's carrying a long object. Just common sense things that raise the hair on the back of your neck. If you see it, report it.
when you see it, report it, and then law enforcement have to act on it. And I meant Thomas Crooks in Butler. People saw him on that building. And even law enforcement saw him. You got to react quickly to those situations. Chris, thanks so much for joining the program this morning. Really appreciate it.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.